Imagine a book so provocative, so controversial, that it was cast aside by the very institutions it sought to support. A book that expands on the creation of the world, reveals angelic secrets, and redefines the laws of God, but is missing from the Bible as we know it today. This is the story of the Book of Jubilees, a text once revered by ancient communities, but now shrouded in obscurity. Why was it banned? What secrets does it hold? And who decided its fate? Stick around, because today we're uncovering the hidden truth behind the Book of Jubilees. The Bible, in its many forms, is one of the most influential collections of texts in human history. But it didn't come together all at once. What we now consider Scripture went through centuries of debates, revisions, and exclusions. Among the excluded texts is the Book of Jubilees, sometimes referred to as the Little Genesis. This ancient work retells the early chapters of Genesis and Exodus, adding layers of detail and context that challenge mainstream interpretations. While it remains canonical in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, it was rejected by Jewish and Christian authorities centuries ago. To understand why, we need to explore not just the book itself, but the cultural and political forces that shaped the Bible's formation. So, let's journey back in time to uncover what the Book of Jubilees is, why it became so controversial, and what its banning tells us about the power struggles of ancient religion. The Book of Jubilees is believed to have been written in the 2nd century BCE, during the Second Temple period, a time of significant religious upheaval and reinterpretation. Written in Hebrew and later translated into other languages, the text provides an alternative telling of the stories found in Genesis and Exodus. But this isn't just a simple retelling. Jubilees offers expanded narratives, like the naming of angels who played roles in creation, detailed genealogies, and strict laws on morality and ritual purity. It also divides history into jubilees, or cycles of 49 years, claiming that this timeline was revealed to Moses by angelic beings on Mount Sinai. One of its most striking features is its claim that the law of Moses existed long before Sinai, even being followed by figures like Adam and Noah. This idea of eternal law was groundbreaking and deeply unsettling for some. But what truly set Jubilees apart, and eventually led to its exclusion, were its bold theological and cosmological claims. What are the controversies within the Book of Jubilees? The controversies surrounding the Book of Jubilees are as complex as the text itself. For one, its reinterpretation of Mosaic law introduced stricter legalism than many other Jewish sects accepted at the time. It emphasized the observance of the Sabbath, dietary laws, and purity rituals in a way that even some early Pharisees found extreme. Another point of contention was Jubilees' calendar system. While mainstream Jewish tradition followed a lunar calendar, the Book of Jubilees advocated for a solar calendar, consisting of exactly 364 days. This wasn't just a practical difference, it was a theological declaration. Jubilees argued that a solar calendar was divinely ordained, claiming that using a lunar calendar could lead to misaligned holy days and a disconnection from God's will. This created a rift between those who adhered to Jubilees and the religious authorities of the time. But the controversies didn't stop there. Jubilees also introduced an angelic hierarchy, suggesting that angels, not God directly, revealed the laws of creation to Moses. This idea undermined the traditional view of direct divine communication, a cornerstone of mainstream Jewish and later Christian theology. In many ways, Jubilees challenged the status quo, positioning itself as an alternative to the evolving religious orthodoxy of its time. But as history shows, challenging the status quo often comes at a cost. With its strict legalism, alternative calendar system, and angelic revelations, the Book of Jubilees became a lightning rod for theological debates. But what ultimately led to its exclusion from the Bible? To answer that, we need to look at the political and religious climate of the time. During the Second Temple period, Jewish society was divided into various sects, including the Pharisees, Sadducees, and Essenes. Each group had its own interpretation of the Torah and its role in society. while the Essenes, a separatist group living in the deserts of Qumran, embraced texts like Jubilees and the Book of Enoch. The Pharisees and Sadducees were less welcoming of such works. These mainstream groups held significant influence over Jewish religious practice, and they rejected the ideas promoted in Jubilees as too radical or heretical. When the Jewish canon began to solidify around the 1st century CE, Jubilees didn't make the cut. This process of canonization wasn't just about theology, it was also about politics. The Pharisees, who would later evolve into the rabbinic tradition, sought to unify Judaism under a single authoritative text, the Hebrew Bible or Tanakh. But the story doesn't end there. As Christianity emerged in the 1st and 2nd centuries CE, early church leaders inherited debates about Scripture from their Jewish predecessors. They too had to decide which texts would become part of their canon. Despite its claims of divine authority, Jubilees was ultimately excluded from the Christian Bible, deemed too controversial and closely tied to Jewish sects that were increasingly viewed as heretical by the church. And then there's the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, a fascinating exception. Unlike most other Christian traditions, this ancient branch of Christianity accepted Jubilees as part of its biblical canon, preserving it alongside the Book of Enoch and other apocryphal texts. Why? Likely because these texts resonated with Ethiopian theological traditions, particularly their emphasis on angelic hierarchies and divine order. So while most of the world forgot about the Book of Jubilees in Ethiopia, it remained a living scripture, studied and revered to this day. What makes the Book of Jubilees so compelling isn't just its history. It's the hidden messages it contains. For scholars, Jubilees is a window into the minds of ancient Jewish communities. It reveals how they grappled with questions about creation, morality, and the nature of God. For instance, Jubilees expands on the story of the Nephilim, the mysterious offspring of angels and humans mentioned briefly in Genesis. It delves into the roles of these beings in the corruption of humanity, presenting a cosmic battle between good and evil that mirrors themes found in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Book of Enoch. The book also emphasizes predestination, portraying history as a carefully planned timeline dictated by God. In this view, nothing happens by chance. Every event, every choice, fits within the framework of God's divine Jubilee cycle. This deterministic worldview was both fascinating and unsettling for early religious leaders. It raised uncomfortable questions about free will and divine justice, themes that remain hotly debated in theology to this day. Modern scholars have also noted the book's social and ethical teachings. Its strict moral code, while extreme by today's standards, reflects a community's desire for purity and separation from outside influences. This sheds light on the cultural anxieties of the time, as Jews sought to preserve their identity amid the pressures of Hellenistic and Roman domination. In the modern era, the Book of Jubilees has experienced a resurgence of interest. Thanks to discoveries like the Dead Sea Scrolls and advances in biblical archaeology, scholars have been able to study this text in its historical and cultural context. But it's not just academics who are intrigued. For many truth seekers, Jubilees offers a glimpse into an alternative history of Scripture, one that challenges conventional narratives and invites us to question how and why certain texts were chosen over others. Today, Jubilees is studied as part of the Apocrypha, a collection of ancient writings that didn't make it into the mainstream Bible but still hold immense value. It continues to inspire questions about the nature of Scripture, the evolution of religious thought, and the complex interplay between faith and power. So, why was the Book of Jubilees banned? Ultimately, it wasn't just about its content. It was about power, politics, and the struggle to define orthodoxy. Yet, despite its exclusion, this remarkable text has endured, offering us a unique perspective on the ancient world and the development of religious thought. If you found this video fascinating, you won't want to miss our next one. Hidden 3,000-year-old Bible reveals Michael and Lucifer's battle over Moses' body. This incredible story dives deep into one of the most mysterious and contested events in biblical history. Just click the link on your screen to uncover the epic clash between heaven and hell. What do you think? Should the Book of Jubilees have been included in the Bible, or does its exclusion make sense? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're fascinated by stories of hidden texts and ancient mysteries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And as always, thank you for watching. See you next time.